Good morning, Shavua Tov, Gutavach. Thanks very much for joining into the Kehillat Shari Torah Halacha Review for Sunday morning, October 25th. We were speaking before Shabbat about making brachas, specifically making sure that the food that you're about to eat is ready to eat. We talked about opening packaged foods and so on. We talked about cooling food off so that it's you're able to actually put it in your mouth without burning anything, God forbid, and so on. Now, technically, according to this rule, say a number of 20th century poskim, you should peel your piece of fruit, if it's a piece of fruit that has to be peeled. An apple you don't have to worry about, but an orange, a grapefruit, something like that, where you can't bite, we usually don't bite into the rind. You're supposed to peel it before you eat it. However, at the same time, there's a counterbalancing concern in halacha, the laws of brachas. We want to make a bracha on a complete food. If possible, we want to make it on a whole thing called a davar shalem. So some poskim suggest the following: if some of the fruit comes off with the peel, then you make the bracha before you peel it. And when you peel it, you'll eat some of that off the peel. If the fruit remains whole, then peel the fruit, and you'll still have a whole, albeit peeled fruit. So like an orange, one of the clementines that you get, right? So you can take the rind off, you can take the peel off, but you'll have a whole fruit, be able to make a bracha on a whole fruit, and then take a bite right away. Some say make a bracha on a whole piece of meat or fish, and then cut it afterwards. If you have a bottled liquid, it should be poured into a cup before you say the bracha. You can say a bracha, he says, in the name of Vizosa bracha, according to the opinion of Rav Eliashiv, saying that if you cut up watermelon, cantaloupe, melons, and so on, the way to eat them usually is once they're cut up, so you can make a bracha on those without worry. Many poskim say that nuts should be shelled before reciting a bracha. Those nuts that come in a hard shell, walnuts, almonds, pecans, and so on, should be shelled ready to eat before you make the bracha. King David in Psalms, in 71st chapter of Psalms, says, "My mouth is filled with your praises." Very beautiful poetic expression. Has practical implications. My mouth is filled with your praises. My mouth should not be filled with anything else. From this verse, the poskim argue that one should not have any food in your mouth at the time you say a bracha. So you have taken a bite of herring and cracker, and now you're ready to say l'chaim on your scotch. Wait until you swallow the tam-tam and the herring before you say shahakol. The proper order is l'chaim, l'chaim, and then you say shahakol on the scotch if you haven't said it on the herring or something else already. Then you make the bracha, and you drink. Some poskim say that if you have so much saliva in your mouth it's difficult to talk clearly, you should remove that before making a bracha. A bite plate, if a person has a bite plate, I guess that's like a retainer, and same thing would go for false teeth. That, of course, is considered part of the mouth. It's nullified, as it were, to the mouth. And it remains there at the time of bracha. No one need remove any dental appliances in order to make a bracha. A woman should not make a bracha while holding her ring in her mouth. I'm sure you heard the funny story about the woman who was becoming more religious, and she was invited to somebody's house for Shabbos, and when they were washing for Hamotzi, she turned to the person behind her and said, "Could I borrow one of your rings?" She said, "What for?" She said, "You're supposed to hold the rings in your mouth when you wash your hands. If you see people, when they wash, they take off their rings because you are not supposed to be wearing any jewelry when you wash your hands, hold them in their mouths, and then you're supposed to dry your hands, put them back on subsequently, but you should not hold the rings in your mouth when making a bracha. Food that is stuck between the teeth is not counted as having something in your mouth. You don't have to floss or anything before making a bracha. Okay, number of more points, just a few more points to talk about, so we'll hopefully cover that tomorrow. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.